Changes are to to Unity on Greenville, where you can rest assured that we come to this place to share the love of the divine, that love that is our natural state of being. Anything that is not love is our false being. So rest assured that your soul is welcome here. Unity on Greenville, where we practice a positive path for our spiritual living. I'm Reverend Karen. I am delighted and honored to be your spiritual leader at Unity on Greenville. And I want to share with you the Board of Trustees COVID protocol. Changes are happening minute by minute, and the Board of Trustees has met diligently to make sure that we stay open in a way that offers maximum safety for all people who want to join us in the sanctuary. So we ask that people wear masks throughout their visit with us and that they observe social distance. And you at home, you can do as you like. We're just grateful that you're here with us today. And rather than a hug, we will greet each other with that sacred and holy namaste or namaskar. My soul honors your soul. I honor that place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the light, the love, the truth, the beauty, the peace. I honor that in you because I recognize that is also in me. And as we share these things, we know that we are one, that we are united, that we're the same, made of the same divine substance. So namaste. My soul honors your soul. There's a few things I want you to know about. On Tuesdays, we've been having delightful times of meditation. We begin promptly at 6:30 and end at 7:30. And Bristol, Hart, Ben Garcia, and I lead this meditation on various days. We take turns doing that. Join us here at the sanctuary. In the bookstore, we do observe physical distance, and we do wear masks throughout the meditation. It's a lovely, wonderful experience. And we have announced our fall book study. It's a book written by a longtime Unity member and a longtime person who was a rock here at Unity on Greenville, Stephen Lane Taylor, author of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And it's perfect for this time. It's living life in the stream, in the divine flow of life. The book study begins Sunday, September 5th, and then we will have a Zoom group on Wednesday evening at 6:30. The link will be on the website and in the e-news message. If you would like a book, I have them in the bookstore. Come on in Monday through Thursday, and you can purchase your copy. It's a easy to read book, but it's a deep, meaningful book. Look forward to that book study with you. And midweek pause. Each Wednesday at 12:30, join me for a midweek pause. Just a quick little tune-up, a time of gratitude, a time of sharing. Right now we're talking about the fruits of spirit and how they show up in our life and how we can carry them into the world. And a mindfulness practice. So join me at Facebook Live every Wednesday at 12:30. And if you visit our website, you will find a place where you can sign up for our e-news message. Once a week, we send out a message that has all of the activities in it, as well as a weekly message from me. We honor that you get a lot of emails, so we do our very best to send only once a week. And while you're visiting that website, if we haven't met in person, if we haven't talked by phone or Zoom, I really want to do that. So complete a connection card on our Sunday page, on our resources, or about us. I look forward to hearing from you. And one more thing, while you're on that website, you can make a donation to Unity on Greenville by pressing the donate button, or feel very comfortable sending a check to the address on the screen. Either way, we are grateful for those tithes and offerings that we have already received and those that are on their way. So let's bless all the abundance that we experience here at Unity on Greenville with our offering blessing. We speak it aloud together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. With gratitude, we commit to using our gifts for good. Amen. While you're visiting that website, I want you to share with us your prayer requests and your gratitudes so that we can hold you in prayer. We have a spiritual care team that is waiting to pray with you. We send those requests and gratitudes on to Silent Unity, who holds them in prayer for 30 days. And there's a prayer page on the website. So share with us what's on your heart. Let's begin our time in this celebration service with a moment of prayer. As we move into that sacred place of the Most High, that inner realm of our being where we connect with that divine presence that moves in all beings and in all creation. We allow that connection to be palpable. We feel that one presence and power that moves through the universe. And as we rest in the presence of the divine, we hold all the people of Haiti who have experienced this earthquake. All of those who have lost their loved ones, who have lost their homes, their lives, all of their possessions. We surround them in that divine light of God's love. At this very moment, may healing begin. We pray for the leaders of that country that they guide their people forward through this incredible disaster with compassion and kindness and generosity. May all the world rise to support and honor the beautiful people of Haiti in all ways possible. May we lift them up to their highest and best. We hold all the people in the world who are suffering from dis-ease, feeling disconnected. May they pause right here and now and allow that presence of the divine to fill their heart with wonder, with health, with wholeness, with peace. And we especially hold our children as they have made and continue to make their way back to the schools. We hold the teachers, the administrators, the principals, all beings who are in that school setting. May they walk with confidence. May they be at peace. May the hearts and ears and minds be open to learning and being. In all things, we give thanks. It is so we allow it to be. Amen. While we are connected with that intimate presence, let's move into a time of meditation. And allow the sound of the singing bowl to carry you deeper into that presence. As the sound of the singing bowl resonates and allows you to move ever more deeply to the inner realms of your being, we allow that intimate knowing of the divine to be yours here and now. Noticing your breath and the beautiful rhythm of life breath brings to you. Notice the gentle inhalation and exhalation. Notice without forcing or making it be anything. Just notice. Notice the life that pours into you as you breathe. Allow love to pour from you as you exhale. With the next breath, allow yourself to remember that you are the light of the world. With the in-breath, speak those words to yourself: I am the light of the world. And as you exhale, I allow my light to shine brightly. As you inhale, I am the light of the world. Exhale, my light shines brightly. With the next breath in, affirm that I give freely of my light and of my love. I remain a beacon of light for others. I allow my light to glow for all the world to see. Take these words to heart and ponder them deeply. As the light of the world, I am the light in someone's life. So I give of my light and of my love freely, without restraint, without condition, but with hope, with grace, and with joy. Affirm once more, I am the light of the world. I allow my light to shine brightly. Gently and tenderly allow your attention to return to the sacred here and now. Here and now. Here and now. Present moment. Indeed, wonderful moment. Namaste.
Simplest thing in the world. Supposed to be easy as 1, 2, 3. But ain't no book gonna make me ever learn. How hard can it possibly be? Sometimes I feel like an amateur, mediocre at my best. But that's not the truth, and my heart won't. It won't concur. My soul is weary for rest as the days go by. Seems like there's never enough time. finish everything. I have so much I want to bring. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna climb the next rung on the ladder. I'm gonna pull myself up. Yeah. Keep remembering what really matters. Gonna surround my world with love. I'm gonna reach beyond where I can see. I'm gonna heal the child inside of me. I'm gonna give even when there's nothing else to do. I know I'll call me mother of the world, and you call me Mother Blue. Ooh. Even if my fear says it can't be done, even when I'm standing and no victory's won, even if the past tries to pull me down, if it's something that I don't know how, yeah, I'm entrusted, I'm being trusted to my core. I'm held responsible for even more. Babies grow into children, into youth, into you and me. Yeah. So we're gonna climb the next rung of our ladder. Here we go. We're gonna pull each other. Yeah. Gonna keep remembering what really matters. Surround our world with love. Yeah, we're gonna reach beyond where we can see. Oh, we're gonna heal the child inside. Yeah, even if it seems there's nothing left, there's still plenty to do. I'll call you Mother of the world, my Mother Blue. Yeah. Come on, we're gonna climb up the next rung on this ladder. We're gonna pull ourselves up, even when there's nothing. If they tell us there's nothing that we can do, we know that's not true. Oh, we're spirits of this world, and we're Mother Blue.
Oh boy, the hits keep coming. My goodness gracious, thank you for that. It's beautiful. It's important for you to know that all the music that you hear this morning is original music composed, music and words by Rachel. We're so fortunate. So good morning again, beautiful people. Bright, brilliant beings of light. That's what you are. Wherever you are, that's what you're shining as today. Over the last couple of weeks, we talked about the unity principles, those foundational teachings in unity that guide our way, that give us purpose and meaning, the things that are the benchmark for us living. And we begin with that first principle, what is God? And it's that God is that absolute, unchangeable good, that energy that permeates all things. That happy feeling when you look out at that afternoon rain and the beauty of that. When you hear the birds sound, that's the goodness, that feeling of, oh, that's good life. That's the goodness of God at work. That aspect of God that is expansive and unlimited, that we can never even begin to imagine, and yet at the same time is as intimate as our breath. That's the power and presence of God. And then we move to that second principle that we, you and I, have that essence in us. That essence of good, that essence of God. And that we are inherently good. Oh, and then there's that thing we call free will. That when we exercise that free will in certain ways, there's great acts of atrocity against one another. We see that in our world. We hear that in our news. And then we move to that third principle that we co-create with the divine and with all beings, all of creation, by the activity of our thinking. So our thoughts have great power to make our world according to our thoughts. And we never use that as a punishment. We use that as a power to lift ourselves and the rest of the world through that collective consciousness to a higher way of being. And we pray. We pray without ceasing, knowing that energy of prayer is, as Charles Fillmore says, is that most highly accelerated mind action. That when we're in those moments of prayer and communion with the divine, we're synchronizing ourselves with God. We're demonstrating that spiritual aspect of ourselves. Because we remember that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And today we conclude with that fifth principle that it's not enough to know these principles and these spiritual laws, all that we call truth. It's not enough to know that. We get to live that in our everyday experiences. We get to live it out loud and boldly in the world. It's us tuning in to all that's happening around us and taking these unity principles into practice. You know, unity's theme is its practical Christianity. And Charles and Myrtle Fillmore believed so profoundly that if you can't live it in a practical way each day, in each experience, what good is it? So it's a practical application. And these principles, we get to apply them. So after a time in unity, I find that, you know, I can talk about these principles pretty easily. I can talk about them from my intellectual understanding, and I can talk about them from my heart. And then comes the moment that I'm called to live them. That I'm called to live them when I'm at my best in remembering that I'm a spiritual being, and when I'm not quite at my best in that oh so very human expression of myself. So living these principles connects us to that remembering and to living them every day. When we have life experiences that draw us off center, that challenge us, we get to pause and be in that presence of the divine. And we get to choose how we respond in those moments. Times like our jobs. If you're happy in your job, you might have a day here and there our families. And a lot of us have extended family that doesn't believe the same way as we do. So you might find challenges in there. It's in our homes, in our health, and all of those places of life. We can take these principles, and by practicing, we can live them. It's sometimes said that we can be an experience, and it's painful, it hurts, but we can see it into goodness. We can claim it as good. And I say that today, for me, that's a little bit incomplete, or a lot incomplete. I do agree that when we pause and open our eyes and our ears and our heart and our mind, we can dig and poke around and we can feel the presence of God in every experience. And we can, sometimes immediately, sometimes over a period of time, discern the good. Sometimes it's really quite a process to discern the good, or to make something good out of the experience. And we indeed get to see it into goodness. And we have the ability and the responsibility to make the backstory match what we see in what we call good. Not just slap a label on it. Oh, that's good when you're struggling and suffering and pain. Your heart hurts, your physical body hurts. And that's how we live the principles in truth that we know, because knowing them is not enough. We're expected to live them. We're expected to carry them out, to open a way for Spirit to move in us. And when we leave out the action part of the principles, we become bystanders. And we bypass the processes of healing, be it individual, be it community, be it global society. And that's called spiritual bypassing, to just say, oh, that's good. God's in that. So I'm going to call that good. When there's atrocity in the world, we see it often. We see it and we will say, oh, inequality and injustice of any kind is wrong. And that sounds very spiritual. That sounds very human, compassionate and kind and humanistic. And yet how we live that is this principle. Some people will see social injustice and inequity and hit the streets and be out there in the voice on the streets as social activists. If that's not for you, that's quite all right. There are people who will do that. There are some people who take to elected officials, meeting with them, talking to them, educating them. Some people become elected officials so that they can be the agents for change in our world. And some people choose to live the phrase, not on my watch, or to, if I see something, I say something. When we stand in the grocery line or waiting for a bus or whatever experience you're having in life, when you hear derogatory words being used, when you see and hear racial jokes being told, when you hear genders being ridiculed or demeaned or love being judged, when we hear homelessness is a condition of choice or addiction is an excuse, we can be that presence that says, not on my watch. And we can speak truth into all of it. We can speak the truth that we know that all beings have that divine essence, regardless of who you love, how you love, what gender you claim, what race you are, what faith you practice, any of those things. If you live live under the bridge or in the finest of mansion, you are no less loved by God. There is no one that you will ever look at that is outside the love of God. This is living the unity principle, my friends. This is living it in our everyday life. And I know that as we go about our days, there are opportunities to live into the truth of all beings being beloved of God, perfect and complete and whole. So saying, oh, it's all good, yes, in that realm of the absolute, it's good. But in this realm of the human experience, it often looks, feels, and sounds like something that is less than good, less than our best, less than honoring of all people. And we can see how things can be used for good. But to lump all of these experiences in the bag of being good is a tightrope. And one small slip and we fall into that spiritual bypassing of not addressing the injustice, the inequities, the suffering, and the pain that is in our world. And to deny that it exists is closing our eyes to humanness. To claim that it can be lifted to something higher is claiming our spiritualness, our truth, our divinity. It's ours to choose how we counteract the atrocities in our society. It may be going out to vote. It may be working at a food bank. Whatever calls you, you all have that whisper of the divine to inspire you. And what is yours to do, and how you are to do it. There's two sayings that I find kind of irksome, annoying. And they are, oh, it's all good. And we just talked about that. Because there's some things that we can work out. And the other saying is, oh, it's in divine order. And it's said in a way that's bringing God's master plan and God's order to whatever is happening. And if you read my blog, I recently did a 3-part series on the trilogy of trilogies. And then in that blog, you would have read about divine order. Let me just say really simply, divine order is not God's master plan for your life. It's not that. Divine order is a process that we use to bring all of life, everything into manifestation. Divine order is mind, idea, expression. The flow of ideas from that universal mind to inspire our mind. And then we do the work to bring it into manifestation. Rachel is a composer. My guess that Rachel can be anywhere, walking down the street, driving down the road, sitting here this morning. And divine mind, universal mind, inspires her with a word or a phrase or a tune. And there she hears a song. Now, if Rachel does nothing, that will evaporate into the ethers. But as we heard this morning and last week and the week before that and the week before that and that, back into infinity, Rachel listens to that inspiration and does the work to put pen to paper, fingers to piano, and a song emerges. So we have to do the work of that divine inspiration. Otherwise, it just remains an idea. I bet most of us have some ideas that are sitting on notepads on our desk or evaporated. So that divine order is an orderly working out of spiritual law. It's a process that must be, because it's just as gravity must be, the spiritual laws must be too. And mind, idea, expression. So do me a favor. Would you please? Those two phrases, oh, it's all good, and oh, divine order, would you stop saying them? Would you please stop saying them? Because I have a soapbox and I'm not afraid to use it. We are all created with that spark of divinity, that Christ nature that was in Jesus is in all of you. Therefore, we are inherently good. Our true nature is goodness. So when we wake up in the morning, if we claim that for ourselves, if we set that as the foundation of how we are to be, what we are to do, we move from that space of awareness of our pure, perfect goodness. And I suspect that as we go about our day, we're going to spread that goodness like fairy dust wherever we go. Seeing that spark of the divine in all beings is indeed a beautiful experience. To look at the face of another and know that you are looking into the face of God, pressed into existence as the human form, is an amazing connection with humanity. And I believe something more comes when we look at each other in such a way. Not only do we see the face of God and divinity, but we call each other into a deeper, more expanded expression and version of that divinity. So there are those in our lives, and we all have them, the people who we call to listen to our stories, right? The stories that we tell. We have that list, who we call first, second, and third. And how we can, that person can be your partner in lifting you to your higher wisdom and that beautiful divine expression. So when you tell your story, they're asking you questions like, how did you contribute to that experience? Not in a judgmental way, but as an exploration. How did I contribute to that experience? We're oh so willing to claim our contribution to the fun, the joy, the laughter, the good times, but how about the others? Those other experiences that might be sad or feeling dejected or maybe not so happy, the itchy, scratchy feelings. What do we contribute there? Not as judgment, not as punishment, but as reflective inquiry, reminding us that prayer is that mind action that synchronizes us with our divinity, with God. And if we're feeling a little disconnected from that, maybe a little extra time of prayer is just what we need to sit ourselves down, quiet our mouths, slow our mind, and move into that communion. Now, we've often heard of accountability partners, right? Have you ever had an accountability partner? We were miserable partners. We didn't hold each other accountable for anything. But we have them for exercise programs, making sure that each person does what they commit to do. And they have them in diet and exercise programs. What if we had a spiritual accountability partner? Someone who helped lift us up into that higher expression that we can be. Someone who reminds us of who we truly are when we forget. And living these principles in technicolor, out loud and bold, in real time. And the truth is that we all have an inner guide. Truth is, we all hear that inner guide. Sometimes we follow it. Sometimes we just ignore it. You know when your human actions are incongruent with the truth of who you are. You know when you are out of harmony with your divinity. Oopsie, that thought was pretty judgmental. You hear that. Oh my, those words were not helpful. That was not a loving action. You get that feeling right here in your gut. You know that feeling. And sometimes we just suppress it. But when we listen to that, when we hear that immediately, we can take immediate action to correct that thought and move to a place of love and compassion and kindness rather than judgmentalness. We can take those words and say, oh, let me say that in a kinder way. And we can take those actions and step back. You know what I really could have done to show love? We can do that. So we set our intention each and every day. And for me, if I know that there's a meeting that I'm going to have that might be a little anxiety-producing or stressful, I prepare myself. I know what my schedule is. I know if I'm going to be facing somebody that is having some really hard times and I need to be centered in truth for myself and for them. So I pray. I meditate. I affirm the truth of who I am. I affirm the truth of who everybody involved is. So that when I go into an encounter, my heart is right. That I have the posture of what I want to bring. And that third principle reminds us that our thoughts contribute to our experiences and to the experiences of others. Our thoughts are energy. Everything is energy in the world. And we're contributing to our life and everybody else's life with every thought in every moment. Even if you're home sitting comfortably on the couch, the vibration of your thinking and the thoughts that you're holding is moving and impacting the space around you. You're sending your energy waves out into that space. So how are you blessing your space today? We attract what we want by our positive thinking, by being connected to our thoughts, by being mindful of what's rolling around in there. And we attract what we do not want with fear. With our negative thoughts that tend to take us to a place of resistance. If we're saying, I don't want to get sick, we're resisting. If I say I don't want to be without a job, we're resisting. Whatever you say, I don't want, you're resisting. So how about if we take those words and make them into a positive affirmation? I choose wholeness and health in all my affairs. And then I do the work to keep that. I pour myself into this job with enthusiasm, zeal, to the best of my ability. And if you want another job, go find another job. But be affirmative. And remember, the tipping point of positive collective consciousness depends on me. The tipping point of that positive collective consciousness depends on you. So claim that and say that out loud with me. The tipping point of positive collective consciousness depends on me. Speak that out loud. The tipping point of positive collective consciousness
Positive collective consciousness
depends on me.
depends on me.
Yes. So if not us, who? If not now, when? You got this. Left hand over your right shoulder, right hand over your left shoulder, and give yourself a big old squeeze. You have been loved and hugged by me. At Unity on Greenville, we have a vision. Share these words aloud with me, please. We see a world where every being lives in awareness of their sacred oneness and divine light. We also hold an affirmation for our children. We, as Unity on Greenville, claim the truth for our youth. We teach principles to empower each child and teen to fulfill their divine potential through fellowship, love, prayer, and meditation. They connect with God, each other, and our world. We see that to be true for them. And our daily word today, Sunday, August 15th, 2021. Pay no attention to the words on the screen. The word today is joy. I say yes to the joy that invites me into this moment. Joy is the call of my heart. Whether I am at work or at play, I bring a spirit of joyfulness to everything I do. More than a mood or an attitude, joy is part of me and mine to live and to share. Like all aspects of my divine identity, joy flowers in my consciousness when I hold joyful thoughts and feelings. I express my joy as the excitement of anticipation, fascination at a new discovery, deep satisfaction in a relationship, and a tranquil glow from the communion with God in prayer. My joy is contagious, and I love to share in it. I have feelings of joy when I take part in a friends' or family members' joyous moments, their celebrations and accomplishments. I feel quiet joy when I offer encouragement and even when I give comfort, grateful to share the care and love of God. 1 Thessalonians 5:16 says, rejoice always. I say yes to joy that invites me to this moment. Rachel.
In me.
And this week, when you go out into the world, remember, as Rachel just sang for us, you are the force of love. So let's share our prayer for protection with the world. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Amen.
May the light of God surround you. May the love of God enfold you. May the power of God protect you. The presence of God watch over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. It's all well. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Have a good week, y'all.